Nadine Johns. I'm one of the care leaver support workers within the care leaver service. There's two people that work on the service, myself and my colleague Louise. Our main priority is to support students that's been in either local authority care or the foyer, to support them throughout their time at university. So whether that's a 3, 4, sometimes 5 or 6 years they're here. So we support them in whatever they need, basically, whether it's financial support, problems within their course, and pastoral support, just to be here for them, really. I was really shocked because I got invited to come along and it was, oh, that's really nice. And one of my students was there, didn't think anything of it until the actual night, to be honest, and then it came up and I'm like, oh no. But it was really nice that they took the time out and they thought so highly that they could do that for me. So I was very flattered and embarrassed, and because I just think it's my job, that's what I'm here to do. So yeah, it was an honour. I've been at the university for about 22 years in admin, and then I started to work on a project called Aim Higher, and we worked a lot with looked after young people, so students at school who were in care. So I would go along and support the people running the day, and just loved working with this group. They can be very challenging at times. They push you to see how far they can push you to see if you'll stick around and support them. And they're just such a lovely group, and I love working with them. And this job came up, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do, and I really love it. Love working with them, and it can be challenging, it can be hard, and it can be really upsetting at times, some of the things you hear, but it's so rewarding to see them grow and then graduate at the end of it all. It's lovely, really enjoy it. We started this off because we found quite a lot of students wouldn't tell other people that they were a care leaver, so they may not tell their friends or people they live with. So it was hard at times, like maybe like Christmas and Mother's Day, and people were saying, I'm going home, my parents are doing this. So we thought it was a good way where we could bring them together. Wouldn't talk about the past, that's one of the things we really state, is we don't say, if you're new you need to tell us why. And it's somewhere where they can be themselves. We bring in people to talk to them, and it's a good network for them. They build relationships and friends up within that, and it's done in a safe way and everything like that. So they got a lot out of it, and so do we as well as a team here. I think it's just the kind of person I am. I'm just really friendly and open and want to help people. So I think it's just naturally part of me anyway. It is finding that and sometimes it can be very close boundary lines of being a friend to them, but also you've got to be that professional. Um, Especially when you've worked with them from day one and possibly pre-entry as well. You build up that relationship. They trust you, they tell you a lot of things about their past. And they see you as a friend, and it is, for us, it is like a friendship because you have known them. For one person I knew for like 6 years, so it is more of a friendship, but then you do need to have those boundaries as a professional as well, to say maybe where they're not like doing so well, say that, come on, you need to look at this, you need to be that little bit harder then to say, right, you need to go and get this support, you need to go and speak to your personal tutor, or whatever it is. So it's a fine line sometimes, but I think it's just the kind of person I am. I don't know. Problem being with this kind of job is there's not a lot of training. So I've gone through like the child protection training and things like that, but it's not specific. If you were a counsellor, you would go through that route. So there's no specific training. I've just done a level 2 counselling skills, which is more to help me sort of like listen and around the boundaries and things like that. But there's no specific course for working in this area. So it's whatever comes up, I'm like, oh, that's good, I'll go for that. And I've done things around like mental health training, drugs and alcohol. So it's more general, there's no specific training for this kind of group, unfortunately. It is hard. It's easier with two of us. We've got about 110 students. Not all of them have come forward to get the sort of like the bursary and say they've been in care. Um, it is hard at times, but it goes. Some students won't need any help, so we try and see them at least between 2 and 3 times a year, all of them that we support, which is not always possible if they're on placements and things. But some students at certain times will need a lot of support, so you've just got to somehow find the time. Some you will see them those 2 or 3 times a year, and you won't see them because they're absolutely fine. But we always check in with them. We'll email how you're doing, and at key times we'll email. So like the start of the year, after Christmas, around exams, we'll just check in with them, even if it's done via email. But somehow you find the time. So if there's something where a student is really urgent and they need to see you, I'll stay a bit later and things like that. So it's a balancing act, but I think we get there with it all. I think it's just understanding, being open, don't judge them, and particularly for this group, don't be, as soon as they tell you something, don't try and be, a lot of people try and fix it or be, oh, that's a shame, and they don't want pity and things like that, and they just want you there to support them when they need it. Understand and purely don't judge them, because if you judge them you lose them, because if you're like, oh, and all things like that, they won't come back, they don't feel that you trust them, they won't build up that relationship. So when they are going through a crisis time and they haven't necessarily got anybody to go to, they can come and they know that we won't judge them. I've been told some really horrendous stuff, and they will say your face doesn't change, you don't look shocked. I may be shocked afterwards and inside, but it's not showing it to them, it's showing that you're there for them 100% no matter what's happened. I think just be yourself. Don't try and be something you're not, because students and people will see through that. And just be yourself as much as you can, and just be there to support them. And don't say, oh yeah, I can do that for you, or the answer is this and you don't know. Be honest and say, I don't know that, but I'll go and find out for you, or you could go there and find out. And it's just about being yourself. That's what I think anyway.